I was in Texas over the weekend, Houston, actually, Katy, Texas. My mom was in assisted living there, and she had a massive stroke, and she's in hospice now. So I luckily got to see her while she still knew who I was, you know. And my brother and I went there, and my older sister Mary, who lives in Texas, has been taking care of her. And look, I wouldn't have missed that for the world, but it's a sad situation. But I'm back. I'm back. Ruth Ann Griffin, hello, how are you? Good to see you. What a beautiful fall day again, you know, gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. And I can't believe, Joe Kane, good to see you, Joe, my financial advisor. We still in trouble, Joe? We're gonna recover from this. Diana Krause, how you guys doing? Yeah, so look, any of you football fans from New York, the Jets and the Giants both won yesterday again. I mean, oh my God. Michelle Lipscomb, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Mississippi Granny, Kim Allison, hello. Joe Kane, we'll survive Brandon. I hope so, Joe. From your mouth, buddy. Candy Scarrett, hello, guys. Great to see everyone. Great to be back. I'm going to Florida on Thursday. My son and I are going to drive down to Jupiter, and I'm going to do some shows down in Jupiter. You know, it's going to be a lot of fun. So, guys, you're on Coffee with Cannon right now. Backyard Beverage, Bitchin' with Bill, whatever you want to call it. Diane Krause, thank you so much. You know, it's there's good things in life, and there's bad things, and you have to experience both to be a full person, you know. And as much as it was painful to fly to Houston and to see my mother, you know, basically dying in bed and transitioning into hospice, I wouldn't have missed it for the world, you know. And I'm so happy that I did go down there. And if anyone, I'm sure other people listening right now have had that experience with a family member, a loved one, and it's almost like, I don't know, a liberating experience that, you know, you were there. And as tough as it is to be there and to hold someone's hand like that, it's my mom, right? Dragonfly Lady, good morning, Bill. And yes, I've experienced that. Yeah, I know I'm not the only one. And BB2, thank you so much, and BB2. It's part of life, right? It's definitely part of life, and we have to experience the good and the bad. We have the wonderful things in life. Ruth Ann Griffin, I did with my mom also, Bill. Good for you, Ruth. God bless. Alicia B, hello. OG Bosgal with the prayer emojis. Thank you. Yeah, so I tell you, LaGuardia Airport now, my God, it's like a maze. I drove there, you know, because, I don't know, I'll pay the $60 a day to park. Jojo, Bill Cannon, I'm so sorry I went through the same 2 years ago. God bless you. Thank you. I realize I'm not the only one. Trust me, I know, and I'm not looking for sympathy. I'm just telling you my experience and what occurred, and, you know. So anyway, I went to LaGuardia Airport. It's like a damn maze. And like I was driving around, I went back on the Grand Central Parkway, back in onto the airport property to go to parking lot B. And you know, they say, oh, call ahead and you'll get discounted parking. They never have, it's all sold out. They say it's sold out. And there's nothing but parking spaces available, but the discounted ones are sold out, you know? So pay $60 a day. You know something? I'll pay it. I'll pay $60 a day. Because you still got to walk like a couple of miles to get to the terminal. And then I get to, thank you, Dragonfly Lady. Thank you so much for the prayers. I get to the terminal, and then I wind up, it doesn't say what seat I'm in on the plane. And I ordered the seat, you know, the ticket relatively early enough. I'm in like 30C or something like that. And then the other thing is that when you board the plane in groups, and if you're in the late group, you'll never get, the overhead compartments will be gone. So I always sneak on earlier with an earlier group, because I know if I don't get on earlier, I'm not going to be able to put my suitcase, and that's an extra half hour, right? If you put your luggage in with the planes, it's an extra half hour, 45 minutes maybe, to wait till they unload the plane, to wait till it hits the carousel. So I'm like, nah, I'm not waiting. I'm sneaking on with Group B, you know, or Group 2 or I was Group 4. I was like, yeah, I'll wait for Group 4. So I'll be assured of not having an overhead compartment. Anyway, guys, it seems what everyone's been covering, and I covered this actually right around the time it happened, is the Quinton Simon, the 2-year-old boy missing, and you know the sheriff down there said they believe he's dead, and they're searching a landfill for this young toddler, and just a horrible situation, you know. And in my police career, I've responded to numerous child homicides, and I mean we all have, and but they knew for some reason very early on that this child was missing and probably dead. They knew it, like I think the day, either the day of or the day after. And he's been missing since October 5th. Missing. It was a joke. Like I think his mother just threw him in the garbage, you know. So that, I would think that would mean they killed him first, you know. And when you talk about dysfunction in a family, this family's crazy. I mean, the grandmother compared the family to the Showtime drama Shameless. That's how dysfunctional we are. And the mother, who's just all of like 22 years old, has 3 kids. And she's a drug addict. My question is, why was she anywhere near this kid? Why was she allowed to be near this kid whatsoever, you know? Just outrageous. Like, why, you know, the police had numerous jobs where they responded to this house. And the daughter, Leilani Simon, was living with the grandmother, Billy Joel Howell, who has an extensive criminal record. Why is she the guardian to this child? Quinton Simon, at the time of this, he was less than 2 years old. He just turned 2. Why was she the guardian if she has an extensive criminal record and this family is, you know, triple trailer park trash? You know, like, are you kidding me? Why was she the guardian to this child? Just unbelievable. Yeah, a beautiful little baby, 2 years old. Protect this kid. The police had been there numerous times. I'm sure they filled out the paperwork for child welfare. Why was this kid still living with this family? You know, it's like, the child was reported missing at 0600 hours on October 5th. And the babysitter, Diane McCarter, she watches all 3 of her kids. And my question was, why was Leilani living in the same house with the kids if the kids were taken from her? How does that happen? You know, how does that happen? Yeah, the grandmother had an extensive criminal record too. It's like, you can't make this stuff up. You know, in New York City, we had this landmark case many, many years ago. Joel Steinberg and Hedda Nussbaum. And they had 2 kids in which they illegally adopted. And they killed one of them, or Joel killed one of them. And Joel also abused the hell out of his wife, Hedda Nussbaum, who basically didn't get charged because they felt that she was so abused and beaten that it was almost like, if you guys know what Stockholm Syndrome is, she just was almost like a captor of her husband, Joel Steinberg, who killed his daughter, little Lisa Steinberg. And that was like a landmark case in New York City. And child welfare and the reporting of child abuse is something that we take so seriously in New York City. However, one of the things that people don't realize is that how good of a system do you think they're going to have in child welfare when the social workers are overworked? They get 100 or more cases. They're underpaid, and the system is broken. But yet they expect great results out of a broken system. This system here in Georgia, oh my God. How did this mother who's a drug addict, how was she allowed anywhere near her child or her children? She had 3 children, and the grandmother they had custody of them. And the grandmother was a mess too. What's her name? Billy Joe Howell. Extensive criminal record. And, you're seeing right now, Pamela White, good morning, Bill. Bless you for all the hard work you have done in your career. It's crazy that so many unfit people have children. The laws are too lenient. Well, you can apply the laws, and as I said, the child welfare system in almost every state, it doesn't get enough money. There's not enough money in it to do what's right by these kids, And when they place a kid in foster care, that's broken too, I had a case one time with this little Spanish girl. She was about 4 years old. Prettiest little girl. And she was in foster care. And her foster mother lived in the housing projects. I found that to be a little strange too. Is it prejudicial of me to say that someone who lives in a housing project should not be allowed to be a foster parent? I don't know. I sort of feel that way. Anyway, this woman was a foster parent. So if you guys know, people get paid for a foster child. I don't know how much they get a month. What I say it's $2,000 a month, $3,000 a month. I don't know what it is. They make money from it. She put on this little girl, was 4 years old. She had a headache. And the foster mother put a fentanyl patch on the little baby's neck. And the baby woke up the next morning dead. Dead. Clearly on the fentanyl patch it said, only to be used by an adult, not to be used on anyone who the prescription is not written for. So this lady, who was a paid foster care mother, put a fentanyl patch on a 4-year-old girl that killed her. Killed her. So we conferred with the district attorney. We locked her up for murder. I don't know if the case went anywhere. I don't think they charged her with murder. They probably charged her with manslaughter, 2nd degree or something, which, she could have gotten probation. But just a horrendous case. Anyway, getting back to this case, little Quinton Simon. Don't we, as a society, owe it to a 2-year-old boy to protect him? Did we protect him in this case? No. He's dead. Look at the people he was around. A drug-addicted mother. They're now the mother and the grandmother out partying as the police and the FBI are searching a landfill for this little boy's body. Leilani and Billy Joe Howell are out partying at a bar, knocking down tequila shots, laughing and joking. They had the babysitter on, Diana McCarter, who seems like she genuinely loved this little boy. And she told the story how on 10/5, she would usually go over to the Jennifer Bassett Society needs to pay attention to the kids in our area, our neighbors and kids that our kids hang out with. Some parents don't care. Yeah, a lot of times, sometimes people will say MYOB, mind your own business. But, something as citizens, sometimes we owe it to protect children, And then we have the mandatory reporters. Who are the mandatory reporters? Police? Absolutely. Social workers? Absolutely. Teachers? Right? Teachers? Mandatory. That if they don't report it, they could be charged with a crime. 96 people in the chat, 40 with the thumbs up. Guys, this is Coffee with Cannon, Backyard Beverage, Bitchin' with Bill, whatever you guys want to call it. Alicia B., you're right. Medical staff also, I'm sorry, I shorted the list there. There's a lot of people that have jobs that come in contact with children that are mandatory reporters of child abuse. And these are the gatekeepers of our society, the gatekeepers of the world that are supposed to help save the lives of kids who could be in danger. The Truth, huge fan of Bill Cannon. Thank you so much. It's always nice to hear that, Always nice. Cody versus everyone. We all got to do a better job of protecting. Sergeant, what's the most heartbreaking case you worked on in your career? I worked on so many of them. I don't think I could pick one. I've been to many child murders, many, where the parents were just, they shouldn't have been allowed to have kids, or they should have their kids taken from them at a very early stage, and so it didn't get to the point that they could be killed. We had a kid actually that drowned once in like 2 inches of water because his mother was hungover and didn't take care of the kid. Just disgusting, Yes, child murders are heartbreaking, it's extremely. Let's get back to little Quinton, though. Could he have been saved? Could someone have saved Quinton's life? This woman, Leilani Simon, has 3 kids. 3 kids. How about the other kids? They actually just took the other kids, as this occurred, they took the other 2 kids from the grandmother. And Leilani was living with her mother, the grandmother, Billy Joel Howell, and she just filed eviction proceeding. This is, I use the term trailer park trash, and, some people may not like that. These people are trailer park trash. They really are. Drug addicted, alcoholic, criminal records. Should they be taking care of other human beings when they don't have their own life in check? TPT. I don't know if you ever heard that term before, but that's the truth. So what do we have now? Quinton Simon, the FBI, and Billy Joe's son is in prison for murder. It's all so shocking. No, the cliche terms, the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. I believe that 1,000%, And of course our son's in prison. Where else would he be, You think he's going to be captain of the Yale chess club? No. The apple does not fall too far from the tree, and, look where he is, look where he is, yeah. Billy Joe seems to be an enabler. The grandma should never have been given custody of her grandkids because she had her own kids removed. But yeah, does that make any sense? The mother is unfit because she's a drug addict, alcoholic, doesn't work, whatever, or works sparingly. And the grandmother previously had her kids removed, so let's give her custody of her grandkids. Does that make any sense whatsoever? What did social services think would be the outcome of this? Did they think this was going to be a happy outcome? So now the police and the FBI are searching a landfill. They believe his body was put in a landfill. So just think of what that means. They reported him missing. I believe it was, they called the babysitter at 0600 on October 5th. And at 5:29, at 5:29 they called the babysitter and said, you won't have to come to work today. You don't have to watch Quinton today. And at 0600, they reported Quinton missing. How did a boy that's in your house, how did someone come into your house and kidnap your 2-year-old with all these people in this house? How did that happen, So I don't think the police believed it at all, and also knowing the history of the family, the history of the house. So now, immediately they go into big-time search mode. One of the most important things with a case like that, Mickey Mantle, good to see you, buddy. Dragonfly lady, I don't know if this is true, but I heard it could be a rumor, but Billy Joe had a family agreement with the court case. I'm sorry I didn't get through that. Look, this family has been to family court. They probably call them by first name. They know them. They're always in court. So my question is, how did no one in social services remove these kids before this happened? They didn't see this. They didn't see this potential abuse. They didn't see that these people were unfit to raise a child. Amethyst Moon, I would like to know why Leilani was allowed to discharge the hospital with the youngest child if both mother and child tested positive. You know, that's a good question too, you know. It's the leniency of the system these days. You know, we used to get so pissed off when a guy on parole would fail the drug test and they wouldn't violate his parole. Oh, what is he going to get put on double secret probation now? He's out on parole. He's not supposed to use drugs. He's not supposed to be out late at night. He's supposed to have a job. He's not supposed to drink alcohol. He's not supposed to do this. He's not supposed to do that. What violates someone who's on parole? I've seen people commit another felony and they didn't get automatically. This is the system. This is this woke system that we live in. And does it transcend and travel into social services, to social workers, the criteria they have to take a child away? And I'm telling you, I don't mean to beat down on social workers. They have one of the most difficult jobs in the world, you know. Jennifer Bassett, I think, gets so focused. She's saying that social services, child welfare, gets pressured into reunification. Let's put the kid back with the family. Let's put the kids together with their family. That might not be the best thing for the kid, right? But they have this thing, being with the family, even if they're dysfunctional, even if they're drug addicts, even if they're alcoholics, even if they're mentally ill, the kid's better off with the real mother. I don't believe that. You know, look what happened in this case. Look what happened. This child is dead. You know, they didn't find his body yet. So, but the other thing is that the police, SF Investigates, welcome to Polish My Rack. Thank you for subscribing, SF Investigates. Always great. Folks, if you're not subscribed to Police Off the Cuff Real Crime Stories, go on our YouTube, hit that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, ring that bell. Giving us a thumbs up helps YouTube spreads this, endorses this video, sends it out to everyone, and it gets a lot more views. So thank you so much for joining our YouTube. Thank you guys all so much. 112 in the chat, 58 thumbs up. Let's get some more thumbs up. Let's get some thumbs up equaling the amount of people that are watching this. Logan McGraw, are you in Florida yet? Bill, no, I'm leaving Thursday. I'm hoping to be there Friday, Saturday, late Friday, maybe early Saturday. I'm not going to kill myself driving there. It's a long ride. So, but luckily my son is going to take the ride with me, and we have a lot to talk about, and we split the driving. I'm not a guy. I don't love driving. Corinna, the fate of the little Quinton haunts me so. Yeah, it haunts all of us. You know, children need to be protected, and we're not protecting them, because a lot of our whole system has gotten woke, It's gotten ridiculous, and it's transcended from the criminal justice field into the child welfare field. And the other thing is, when we talk about all of this, Kim Alliston, thank you so much. When we talk about the defunding the police, how about funding the police? And also, how about funding social services? How about giving more money to them so they can more properly do their job, so they can protect these children? Are these children because they're from poor families? They're poor kids. Are we not going to protect them? They're in foster care. Are we not going to protect these kids? No, I think we owe it to kids, absolutely, to protect them, to defend them. So that takes money, right? So stop sending billions to Ukraine and send some money to the child welfare system, Same Yummy from Australia. Wow, good to see someone from Australia. Put a shrimp on the barbie. That became the cliche for Australia, right? Put a shrimp on the barbie for me. But so it's, Leilani Simon, the mother of Quinton, she used drugs, admitted to using drugs when she was pregnant. Can you think of anything? Well, there's worse things than that, I guess. That's pretty bad, though, right? Using drugs. I would always cringe when I would see pregnant women smoking cigarettes. I was just like, oh, my God, you can't do that. Every time you take an inhale of a cigarette, the baby's getting smoke, getting nicotine, Girl Friday, it's the laws. The laws protect the family unit. Yeah, I understand all of this stuff, but I'm thinking that maybe instead of protecting a dysfunctional family unit, maybe they should protect the child more, you know? I think maybe they should protect the child. What do you think? What do you guys think? If you think they should protect the child more, put a 1 in the chat. Everyone put a 1 in the chat that thinks they should protect the child more and not the family unit if it's a dysfunctional family unit, you know? Girl Friday says 100% Bill. Yeah. Alicia B, Kim Alliston, yes. You got to protect the child, you know? Protecting the family unit. Joe Kane, yeah. Jennifer Bossett, Lori Graverholt, Heidi Ho, Heidi, 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 Heidi Ho, and BB2. Yeah, I mean, we all think that, but why is the system get so politicized that it doesn't protect the child, but tries to protect the family unit? That the family unit that is already fractured, right? It's a fractured unit, so let's protect it. No, let's protect the child before the child winds up dead, you know? That's, a child is in defense, a 2-year-old is defenseless. So why are we protecting drug-addicted adults, criminal adults, you know, and keeping the dysfunctional family unit together? You know, I think it's crazy. You know, the main suspect in the disappearance of Quinton is his mother, Leilani, right? And one of the things that I would like to know, and I know that if I would have responded to a case like this, I would have grabbed her immediately and brought her into the detective squad. And she would have been interrogated immediately. She would have been interrogated. And guess what? She's going to be interviewed and interrogated as a free person. She's not under arrest till we can establish probable cause. But I would have her in the box with my best detective interviewer, with all of the circumstances that we know at that point, and that's the most important thing. You know, if they don't find this body, are they going to be able to charge her? I don't know how much evidence they have, you know. What other evidence do they have other than circumstantial evidence? They have the cell phone evidence, but guess what? If she threw the child in a garbage pail, killed him in the house, and threw him in a garbage pail, and the commercial garbage truck picked this garbage up and threw it in the dump, now law enforcement has to connect the dots, right? They have to prove that she did this, you know? Follow the green in your own wood. Listen, believe, report, support, protect. Thank you, follow the green in your own wood. That's good advice. You know, it's very good advice. So the police now, they're searching this landfill. They call it a landfill. It's more like a dump, right? Laura Graverholt, I'm hoping there is video at the dumpster. Janet Hill, I believe she OD'd him on NyQuil. That could be possible, you know. I wouldn't put anything past this mother. To use the term mother on this woman is not, that's not okay, really. She's not a mother, you know. She's just biologically had this kid. She was never a mother, you know. And BB2, this reminds me of the Casey Anthony case. So law enforcement now, for 4 or 5 days, is searching this dump. You think it's healthy for people to search a dump? What do you think? They're putting their lives at risk. Searching, yeah, they are. It's disgusting. There's all kinds of diseases. They're searching through garbage. They're searching to decomposition, things that are decomposed, animals that are thrown in there. Smartly, they took a couple of days break so that the FBI agents and the officers that are doing the search, they could recover from the heinousness of searching this, you know? And look, we did something, follow the grain in your own wood. It sounds like they have video of her throwing something in a dumpster. They're looking for that something, which is, yeah, I think that they probably have evidence, but not linking to point A to point B. But, you know, we searched, well, I say we, NYPD officers that were on the job during 9/11, we searched at the Fresh Kills dump in Staten Island, which is at the ass end of the world. We searched that for bodies and parts of bodies. and remains of survivors, of people that perished during the World Trade Center, and at great risk to ourselves. Many people have all different types of cancers right now in regards to their service during 9/11, and the Fresh Kills landfill was probably one of the most unhealthy places to be assigned during the 3 to 6 months of the World Trade Center operation. Not a healthy place. You would look at, there'd be water on the ground and you'd see the water bubbling. And you'd be like, what the hell is that? Why? It looked like the Addams Family, you know? And we asked people up there and they said, oh, that's methane gas. The methane gas is coming up from the ground and it causes the water, causes the water to bubble. We said, oh, that's got to be super healthy for us, right? And you know, it's funny, the New York City Police Department is always, the first day you show up and they said, we have this plan. You're going to take off your real clothes. You're going to put on these Tyvek suits and these over your clothes, a Tyvek suit. And then after you search, you're going to take a shower. And before you eat, and then after you eat, you put your gear that you've been searching with on it. None of that stuff ever happened. It was Tyvek suit. You're going to eat. Take off your Tyvek suit. Throw it out. You eat. You're done eating. You go out and put on a new Tyvek suit. You know, so it wasn't a healthy place to be. Eating the food, you know, they were like, oh, what are we going to do about eat? You know, because the police department's always like, oh, what are they going to do to eat? Well, are we going to let them go into the neighborhood of Staten Island to go eat? No, they had to. The Red Cross provided meals for us, and it was the only thing that made any sense. And you know, it was the only time in police department history that you were allowed to eat food for free. You know, everything else would be frowned upon. The free cup of coffee. Oh my God, don't do that. You know, but so in that way we were treated nice. The volunteer workers from the Red Cross treated us nice, but it was a horrible place to be assigned. And the way they enticed people to go there was they gave you 4 hours overtime. Joe Kane, Fresh Kills was brutal. Many cops got sick and died from going. I only went there a handful of times. Joe, you know, same thing. People used to volunteer for it to get the 4 hours overtime. I was like, I don't care if they give me 10 hours overtime. I don't want to go there, but I still got assigned there. And sometimes there was some people that would call you up and say, hey, can I have your Fresh Kills overtime like another boss? I said, you got it, take it. You want to go to Fresh Kills? Go ahead. There was one lieutenant from the 2-8, I won't say his name, but every time I got it, he'd call me up, hey, can I have your Fresh Kills? I go ahead, man, you got it, take it. You know something? You want 4 hours overtime? That's blood money to me, you know, and I used to give it to him, so, you know, I wonder how he's doing today. It's a horrible thing. So the Georgia cops and the FBI think Quinton was dropped in a specific dumpster at a specific location that would have been emptied at the county's waste management facility, which they are now painstakingly searching for any clues or fragments of Quinton. So if he was killed on October 5th, it's like 3 weeks. The decomposition process, you know, of a 2-year-old who was tiny to begin with, it'd be tough to spot that body in the dump, in the, you know, just very tough. So you know, the officers and the FBI, they have to really be heads up what they're looking for, you know, and it, you know, working at a dump, working at a landfill as they call it, it's a dump really. Yeah, Corinna, fragments of Quinton. You know, we would recover bone fragments in Fresh Kills, and we would take it to an anthropologist. And the anthropologist would say it's human, or oh no. One time I brought bone, and they said, oh, this is a turkey. I go, how the hell did a turkey get in the World Trade Center? And the lady said, well, you know, there was restaurants there. I go, yeah, why the hell did I think of that? There's not turkeys roaming inside the building, you know. Elizabeth Saucier, yeah, I've had some thoughts and worries about the searches. What a difficult job, the searches at that landfill. Yeah, no, horrible. But you know something? This is what cops do. They risk their life for someone else's life, you know? Tammy Donaldson, why is she walking free? Because they don't have enough to arrest her right now. At some point, if they don't find little Quinton's body, they may have to lock her up with circumstantial evidence. And there's been convictions of homicide without the recovery of a body before. So there's a potential that that they'll lock her up. But, you know, we're hoping that they do recover the remains of little Quinton. But I think the biggest story in this is what do we do about social services? Why was this kid with this family? Why was this kid's mother, Leilani, why was she allowed to freely be around him? She shouldn't even have been allowed to be around this kid, you know? I mean, they had the babysitter, Diana McCarter, and she really genuinely seemed like she loved this little boy. And it wasn't her little boy, but she took care of this kid better than anyone in that family, you know? And, you know, when she was called, Alicia B., Child Protective Services isn't working for the family. I think you're right. You're right. 111 people in the chat, 89 with the thumbs up, guys. Thank you so much for joining me today. This is Coffee with Cannon, a little early version of the show. I haven't been on the air in a few days, as I told you. I was in Texas, basically saying goodbye to my mom. And I'm back and leaving Thursday for Florida, taking a ride to Florida on Thursday. I'll do a few shows down there. It'll be fun to do some shows down there. But this is such a sad case. You know, it just, you just can't, you can't understand how anyone could hurt a little child like this, 2-year-old child, Quinton, you know. The child was supposed to be in protective custody from bio mother, not a, no, I you know something, I know that. But how many cases of dead kids are we going to have till someone wakes up and says, this child welfare system is not working? It's not working. We're going to have to do something about it, you know? We're going to have to put more money into it. We're going to have to change some of our procedures. Butterfly kisses every day. Yeah, it's totally sad that people that hurt children. What's the commonality in people that abuse children? Alcohol, certainly, alcoholics. Drug addicts, absolutely. I would bet in 80 to 90% of these cases, somehow alcohol is involved. Alcohol and drugs are involved. Yeah, love wins, right? 100%. So, can't the courts force her into rehab? You know, force her, or, you know, or else you're not allowed to see a child. No, you're not allowed. You know, all three of her kids should have been in foster care because the grandmother was unfit to raise these kids also, you know? Just ridiculous, right? So alcohol, drugs, childhood trauma, butterfly kisses, all three, yes. You know, many states outsource to private agencies, CPS. There's big money involved there too. You know, sometimes when private sector runs things like this, it becomes the profit. You know, they want profit, so they cut corners. So maybe they don't even give the kids as much as the government does. Government-run child welfare, you know. When private sector people run prisons, it's like bare bones. They barely feed the inmates, you know, because it's a profit margin. So I would say in almost every type of thing, the private sector can do a better job than the government most of the time. It depends. Certain things, no. Private prisons, probably not. Social welfare, how would you like them to cut corners on the protection of a kid because they're trying to make money? They're trying to increase their profit margin. How would you like that? I wouldn't. Guys, 112 in the chat, 92 with the thumbs up. Love wins, genetic and environmental components too, nature and nurture. Yeah, no, look, I'm not trying to oversimplify this. There's a lot of factors. Some people just really shouldn't be parents. They shouldn't have kids. They shouldn't be. I don't know how you can't prevent them. Lieutenant Pete, hey Bill and all good police off the cuff chat friends. Good to see Lieutenant Pete. Marcella can't be far behind if Lieutenant Pete's in the chat. Yeah, no, it's not simple. I'm not trying to oversimplify it. I'm just saying the results of social service not doing a good job or not being funded properly, not having enough people, is that the police pick up the pieces. And here's a perfect example. A 2-year-old getting murdered by his mother, who everyone knew was a mess, was a total drug addict, alcoholic. Why is she around the child? Everyone knew this. So are we going to all now act surprised that this happened? No. So now we have little Simon, right? Little Quinton Simon. And what was his life like in his not even quite 2 years old? What was his day-to-day life like? I bet you the most love he got was from his babysitter. She seems sincere. She seems like, I watched a video of her. She was interviewed by the news, and she seemed like she genuinely loved this little boy. How about the horrors she saw with this family? She probably wanted to take the kid herself and remove the kid, She was, I think she was getting paid like $15 a day or something. Oh my God. Crazy, right? Yeah, love wins, but love, something? Love has to protect these little innocent kids. And guess what? It's not. It's not. We had a thing on the NYPD that there was a patrol guide procedure that said any child removed by the police department will never ever be returned by the police department. So if we removed the kid and we brought the kid to the hospital, and social service would come to the hospital and say, oh, we have a case on this, it's okay, give the kid back. It's not me. You want to give the kid back? You do it. I'm not giving it back. No. Oh, well, no, I don't care what you say. You're telling me to give the kid back? I'm saying no, because I think there's danger for the child, And I'm a representative of the NYPD. I'm not returning the kids to their parents. I will physically hand you the kid. You want to do so? You do so. It's on your conscience. You're making the call. But do not ask me so they could say, oh, the police gave this child back to his parents. And there's imminent danger. I feel there's imminent danger. Oh, you don't think I'm qualified to say that? Well, good. Take the child yourself. You're going to return the kid to an unfit mother, an unfit family situation? I'm not doing it, okay? Jimmy May, foster parents are historically bad too, no easy answer. No, well, Jimmy May, the answer is to put more money into the foster care system, Stop giving billions to the Ukraine and put some money into the foster care system because it's broken, it's horrible. These poor kids, if they're raised by their... Bill, what were you able to do if they did return the kid? No, if social service returned the kid to the family, they had the legal right to do that, but I just didn't want it on my conscience that me as a sergeant with the NYPD who made a decision to remove this kid, I'm not returning the kid. You want to return the kid? Guess what? Go ahead. But I'm not physically going to give this kid back to what I feel are unfit parents. I couldn't stop them from returning the kid because they determined, oh, they have a case, they have a case worker, we're going to watch this. Yeah, okay, all right. But guess what? I'm not returning the kid. And look, this failure we see with this. Rocky, how are you, buddy? Love wins, love it, like it, Bill. I've removed a lot of kids in my, and I'm not the only one. It was always, the removal of a kid was the decision of the sergeant. The sergeant was called to the scene. If you felt, and think of the power that is to take someone's kids from them. I didn't take that power lightly. I would never abuse it. But if I thought that the kid was in imminent danger, I'm taking your kid from you, you know, and he's going to go into the foster care system. And the parents would cry and scream and this and that. And if there was any abuse, I would lock them up too, you know. Horrible situations, you see. And this kid, Quinton, you know, maybe he could have been saved, but he wasn't. We, the adults, the mandatory reporters, the mandatory responders, we failed. We failed with this kid, right? And now they're going to remove the other two kids. Oh, that's the old expression. Yes, close the barn door after the horse has run out, you know. It's crazy, you know. Yeah, it's just crazy. I always like that expression, you know, let's close the barn door. The horse ran out, let's close the barn door. No, you got to close the barn door before the horse runs out, you know, or else there's no point in doing it. Guys, police off the cuff, real crime stories. This is Coffee with Cannon, the early show. You could be drinking coffee. You could be drinking whatever you like. If you're putting a little Bailey's in your coffee, I applaud you. You know, a little Bailey's in the coffee on a fall day. Oh my God, isn't that nice? Doesn't that warm you up? Yeah. Coffee and Bailey's. Oh, I always used to love that. I always like my coffee super hot though, you know. So when I make coffee like with a coffee machine, I throw it in the microwave for 40 seconds. Some of you guys might be like, oh my God. Yeah, I like it hot, man. 40 seconds. That's what I've determined is okay, you know. CO, Michelina Sereno, Kim Alice, Jimmy May, agree with you completely. So much respect. Thank you, Kim Allison. Pamela White, Diane Krause, love Bailey's. Yeah, me too. You know, for years I was drinking like Emmett's because it was less expensive. But you know something? There's no substitution for Bailey's. You know, Bailey's is just the best. You know, it's the best. It's the best Irish cream, made in Galway. I have a horrible Irish accent too. I got to work on my accents one day. You know. So glad you guys are joining Coffee with Cannon. We dropped off to 96 and 99 thumbs up. We got to get at least 100 thumbs up. Yeah, Chick Eastwater, I read that. The grandmother and the daughter. That shows you the grandmother's just as unfit as the daughter. They're out drinking shots as a 2-year-old boy is probably laying dead somewhere, and the daughter killed him, and they're out drinking shots and acting the fool in some bar. How's that make everyone feel? You know, is that pathetic? Pamela White, once we get our age, start buying what we like. That's true. We'll pay the little extra, Pamela, right? We'll pay the extra $10 a bottle or whatever it is for Bailey's because it's that much better, you know? Andrew DeGroot, I have a worse Welsh. I don't even think I could do a Welsh accent, you know? I got to really work. You know, when you start, like if you're around people that speak with a British accent or an Irish accent, you pick it up. But if you're not, you don't do it as well, you know? And there's certain words that sound like a British accent you have to say the way they do. And Irish too. Irish have a lot of their own, and English, they have a lot of their own words too. The words that we don't use. Renee Kenyu, aloha, Sergeant Bill, I'm not usually awake for these. You must be from Hawaii, right? Pamela White, yes, tired of living cheap. Yeah. Well, that's why you would always drink good Cabernet too, you know, the really good California Cabernet. 108 in the thumbs up. Thank you, guys. Corinna, I understand your position on the war in Ukraine. Look, I just, you know, it seems like our country's been at war almost my whole life, you know, whether it was Vietnam and then what was after Vietnam was Iraqi Desert Storm, right? And then after 9/11, 20 years in Afghanistan. Now we're not fighting a war, but we're paying for a war. And I mean, the politics of all of this stuff, Korea was, I think, before maybe I was born around the Korean War, but it seems like we're always in a war, you know, and as certain things in the country are not prioritized, but, you know, we can give billions and billions of dollars to fight wars. And then they left $1 billion of equipment in Afghanistan, you know, unbelievable. Guys, I'm coming on 50 minutes. I want to thank everyone for stopping by today. This has been Coffee with Cannon, Backyard Beverage, Bitchin' with Bill, whatever you want to call it. Thank you so much for tuning in today. God bless everyone, and have a great day.